How to get a girlfriend on dating sites, understanding the female perspective. Many men may not fully grasp that the experience women have with online dating and dating applications is quite distinct from their own. To begin with, men are generally more influenced by visual cues and physical appearance than women are. This might seem surprising based on your personal experiences, but if you're curious to delve deeper into the male perspective, I recommend reading a book titled The Male Brain. I will include a link to it below for those interested. It's important to recognize that men tend to place a greater emphasis on the physical looks of women compared to how women perceive men. While women certainly notice the attractiveness of men, this is often just a preliminary impression. For women seeking a serious relationship or something more enduring than a casual encounter, other aspects tend to hold more significance than mere looks. Having navigated various dating platforms myself during my single days, I can provide insight into the female perspective on these sites. I explored numerous dating services, including Match, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, Fitness Singles, and Christian Mingle, among others. In fact, I experimented with around 9 or 10 different dating sites, some of which are no longer operational. Additionally, I embarked on a project called 50 First Dates about 5 years ago. This initiative stemmed from my observations of online interactions with men, leading me to believe they could benefit from guidance on enhancing their profiles. However, as I went on actual dates, I discovered that many could also improve their dating skills. Throughout these experiences, I noticed several recurring themes that emerged from my dates, which I will discuss shortly. This is how I developed my program, Double Your Online Dating, which is currently priced at just $10, although that may change in the future. Now, let's delve into the experiences women have in the realm of online dating and in society at large. Interestingly, women tend to receive more approaches than men. However, this trend is evolving. Recent statistics from dating platforms indicate that in relationships that ultimately succeed, whether they last a short time or longer, it is often the woman who takes the initiative to reach out to the man in about 40% of those cases. Now, let's discuss the importance of photos in your dating profile. This aspect can be somewhat surprising. In my Double Your Online Dating program, I emphasize the necessity of including a photo where you are smiling. Ideally, this should be an image that captures you in a moment of happiness or joy, as individuals who appear negative or downcast are generally less appealing to women. Here's where it gets a bit counterintuitive. You should also include a photo where you look serious or mysterious. Research indicates that women often find men who exhibit a stoic or brooding demeanor more attractive. This doesn't mean you should appear cranky, rather, you want to strike a balance. A photo that shows you enjoying yourself, perhaps laughing genuinely, is fantastic. It conveys to women that you are a pleasant and enjoyable person to be around. On the other hand, a serious or mysterious photo can highlight your more alluring side, which can be quite enticing. If your goal is simply to find a casual hookup, you might want to feature more images of yourself looking serious and mysterious rather than just happy and cheerful. Conversely, if you are seeking a meaningful relationship, it would be wise to prioritize the happy, joyful images over the serious ones. If you're looking to enhance your profile with more images that showcase you in a neutral or joyful light, it's also a good idea to include at least one photo where you exude an air of mystery and allure. This is a crucial aspect of your photo selection. Remember, the images you choose serve as a visual reflection of your personality and the lifestyle you lead. As I mentioned in my program designed to help you double your success in online dating, there are numerous additional tips regarding photo selection. If you're interested in delving deeper into this topic, I highly recommend investing in that program. It's priced at just $10, which is roughly the cost of a fancy coffee, definitely a worthwhile investment for your dating journey. Now, let's shift our focus to your bio. Your bio acts as a narrative that describes who you are. It's important to note that if you keep your bio too brief, it may come across as lazy, superficial, or suggest that you're only seeking a casual encounter. If you don't share anything about your personality or lifestyle, potential matches might assume that these aspects are unimportant to you, and that you're primarily focused on the visual elements of the dating platform. If your goal is to find a meaningful relationship, or at least to explore the possibility of one, I strongly encourage you to fill your bio with thoughtful words that tell a story. In a scriptwriting class I attended, the instructors often emphasize the principle of show, don't tell. This means that your words should illustrate your experiences and feelings rather than simply listing them. Instead of providing a dry list of interests, aim to weave a narrative that captivates the reader. Keep in mind that women tend to be more emotionally driven, so the more sensory details you incorporate into your storytelling, such as sights, sounds, and tastes, the more engaging and immersive your narrative will be. For instance, rather than merely stating that you enjoy hiking, consider sharing what draws you to it. Describe the exhilaration of reaching a mountain summit, the tranquility of a forest trail, or the joy of discovering a hidden waterfall. This approach not only paints a vivid picture but also invites the reader to connect with your experiences on a deeper level. Let's talk about how certain activities can evoke feelings and connections. For instance, I have a personal affinity for hiking, as it brings me a sense of closeness to a higher power when I find myself in the mountains. This experience can resonate with others who share similar interests or who might find their own unique activities that allow them to immerse themselves in a narrative or relate to it on a deeper level. Rather than simply listing hobbies like hiking, coffee, theater, or sports, consider adding layers of meaning to your story. It doesn't matter if your narrative is lengthy or concise, what truly counts is the depth you bring to it. The platform you choose for your profile will influence the word count you have available to express yourself. Additionally, if you have a clear intention regarding the type of relationship you seek, be it a serious commitment or a casual encounter, it's perfectly acceptable to communicate that in your profile. However, as I mentioned in a previous video, if you are looking for a meaningful relationship, avoid phrasing it in a way that suggests you are desperate for the first person who comes along. Instead, you might say something like, I'm ready for a relationship and am looking for the right person to connect with. This approach is particularly relevant for users on dating platforms like Match or Plenty of Fish, which allow for more extensive profiles. It's important to express your desires without coming across as overly eager. Now, let's discuss the initial communication phase, which is where many individuals, particularly men, tend to falter. This stage can be quite challenging. If a woman hasn't initiated contact with you and you decide to reach out, she will likely take the time to review your profile. Her impression will be influenced by the content of your first message. In cases where the platform allows for messaging, it's crucial to make a strong first impression. Avoid sending generic greetings like "What's up" or "How are you," as these are often perceived as dull and unoriginal. Stand out by crafting a message that reflects your personality and sparks interest. Women often receive a high volume of messages that may come across as superficial or unengaging, sometimes reflecting a lack of effort, creativity, or genuine interest in their profiles. To stand out, focus on analyzing their profile content rather than relying on generic approaches. If their profile includes text, take time to read and interpret it. This can reveal meaningful details about their personality or interests. If the profile is more visual, carefully examine the photos for subtle cues about their character, beyond just their appearance. A well-chosen image that tells a story about their values, hobbies, or experiences can serve as a strong foundation for your first message. Here's how to craft an effective initial message. First, include a non-romantic compliment that ties back to their profile. For example, if they share a passion for art, you might say, "Your profile's description about your love for painting really resonates with me." Next, keep the message concise, avoid lengthy explanations since recipients, especially those who are visually appealing, often face overwhelming message volumes. Balance brevity with clarity to ensure your point is made efficiently. Incorporate a light-hearted element to create a friendly vibe. A small joke or playful remark, e.g., "I see you're a fan of sunny days, do you ever get tired of the sun?" can help ease tension, as people tend to be cautious when approached online. Finally, end with an open-ended question that invites conversation, such as, "What's one thing you'd love to try this weekend?" This encourages a response and builds connection. For example, a sample opener could be, "I notice your love for hiking is truly inspiring. What's one adventure you'd most like to tackle next? Let's chat." Let's dive into the world of online dating and explore how to make a great first impression. For instance, if you came across someone's profile that mentioned hiking as one of their interests, you could start with a comment like, "Great hiking pic, Ashley. The Inca Trail is actually one of my bucket list goals." This approach shows that you've taken the time to read their profile and are interested in getting to know them better. You could even add a bit of humor by saying, "If we're ever allowed to travel again, wink," to break the ice. Then, you could ask them a question like, "If you could travel anywhere in the world and money was no object, where would you go and why?" This type of question encourages the other person to share more about themselves and can lead to some fascinating conversations. It's essential to be genuine and creative in your approach, rather than relying on generic questions or comments. As we all know, online dating can be a bit daunting, especially when it comes to reaching out to someone for the first time. That's why it's crucial to craft a compelling bio that showcases your personality and interests. If you're looking for more tips on how to create an engaging bio, there are plenty of resources available online. Now, when it comes to planning a date, it's vital to prioritize the other person's comfort and safety. As I've mentioned in my previous videos, women's primary need is to feel safe, which is why I often recommend starting with a casual coffee date. This type of setting allows you to get to know each other in a relaxed environment, without feeling too much pressure. Think of it as a pre-date or a chance to see if you're compatible before deciding on a more formal date. Of course, there are situations where a dinner date might be more suitable, but it's essential to take things at a pace that feels comfortable for both parties. You can find more information on this topic in my program, but remember to take it with a grain of salt and prioritize open communication and mutual respect. When planning a coffee date, consider pairing it with a leisurely walk. For younger individuals, particularly those under 25 or teenagers, you might opt for a drive instead of coffee, or even skip the coffee altogether and just enjoy a scenic drive. However, it's essential to meet in a public place first to ensure she feels secure. Women often require a sense of safety when interacting with men, as men are generally larger and stronger. Even if you share the same physical size, the biological factors at play, such as the effects of testosterone during development, contribute to men having denser muscle mass and higher levels of aggression. This inherent difference can lead to women feeling uneasy around men, even if they might feel comfortable with you personally. The dynamic of feeling a bit vulnerable can actually enhance the feminine experience when a man exhibits masculinity. This sense of unease often stems from the fact that, upon first meeting, a woman knows very little about you. She may not be aware of your character or intentions, which can lead to apprehension. Therefore, it's crucial to create an environment where she feels safe. Choosing a public location for your initial meeting is a wise decision. If she feels at ease with you after that, you can then suggest going for a drive. For younger men, activities like walking or sitting face-to-face in a coffee shop can sometimes feel a bit awkward. Engaging in a drive or listening to music can provide a welcome distraction and make the experience more enjoyable. On the other hand, if you are older, particularly over 30, opting for a walk or a coffee in a cafe is generally more suitable and tends to feel less uncomfortable. It's important to acknowledge that all first dates can carry a degree of awkwardness, but with the right approach, they can also be a lot of fun. Now, let's discuss the best dating site or app that might suit your needs. Your ideal dating platform choices depend entirely on your relationship objectives. Here's a helpful framework. For serious connections, prioritize platforms demanding detailed profiles or subscription fees. These barriers naturally attract commitment-minded users. While no service eliminates casual daters completely, thorough sign-up processes, like eHarmony's compatibility quiz or Match.com's paid model, filter out many low-effort participants. Contrast this with photo-focused apps like Tinder, popular among younger crowds for spontaneous meetups. Many users here adopt a see-what-happens mentality rather than seeking lasting partnerships. For instance, college students might swipe for casual hangouts, while professionals over 30 often find better matches on more intentional platforms. Strategic platform selection tip: diversify across 2 to 3 services with distinct user bases. Combine a niche site, like religious or hobby-specific dating platforms, with broader mainstream options. This approach maximizes exposure without duplicating your profile across identical audiences. Imagine using Bumble, known for career-focused users, alongside Coffee Meets Bagel, curated matches, and a specialty site aligned with your values. You'll cast a wide yet targeted net while avoiding redundant interactions. For instance, platforms like OkCupid and Match often attract a similar user base. If you find yourself registered on both, you are likely aware of this overlap. However, you might consider focusing on one of these options, such as OkCupid or Match, while also exploring other sites like Fitness Singles, which caters to individuals who prioritize fitness, or Our Time, which is designed for those over the age of 50. It's important to avoid signing up for multiple dating sites that feature the same pool of potential matches. Instead, aim to diversify your choices. If you are in the younger demographic, say under 30 or 35, you might want to try platforms like OkCupid and Tinder. On the other hand, if you identify as Christian, you could explore Match and eHarmony. A common question that arises is, how much time should I dedicate to using a dating site? The straightforward answer is to consider how much time you can realistically allocate to nurturing a relationship with someone special. It's essential to carve out time for a partner, but remember, dating should not feel like a full-time job. To strike a balance, I recommend limiting your time on dating sites to half of the time you have available for socializing. Use the other half to engage in real-life activities and enjoy your life, not solely focus on finding love. Additionally, as I mentioned in my guide on doubling your online dating success, I provide numerous tips on initiating conversations, creative date ideas, and how to follow up after your first date. I encourage you to check that out and share your experiences with the dating sites you've tried in the comments below. Your feedback is invaluable, and I truly appreciate your generous donations, which have made a significant difference. Be sure to check out the next video, which is one of the 2 available options. This will help you gain a deeper understanding of the topic and provide additional insights that you might find useful.